Good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Your brother Tony is in the house. Welcome to the dinner table where we're going to have some good food for the soul. You don't want to miss this dinner tonight, my brothers and sisters. By the way, my brother and sister, go ahead and invite some more family members and friends to come sit at the table. We have plenty of it. We have plenty of good food. And we do not run out. There's plenty of room at the dinner table. So come one, come all. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships from a spiritual point of view or a biblical point of view. In my position when it comes to a relationship, I strongly believe in the account in the book of Genesis. That's the position I come from. I believe strongly in the account from the book of Genesis. What do I mean by the book of Genesis? I believe strongly that God is the one that created the relationship. So therefore, God, he can call the shots on what is a legitimate relationship and what the role, duty, responsibility, and the boundaries of a relationship between that of a man and a woman. By the way, my brother and sister, if you look at the account in Genesis, God had a very unique relationship with the man Adam before woman came onto the scene, okay? It was between the man Adam, and God. Secondly, God had a very unique relationship with the woman Eve before he represented the woman Eve back to the man Adam. After that, Adam, when he seen Eve, he said in the presence of God, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position that I come from, my brother and sister. So if you're going to sit at the dinner table, this is the position I come from when it comes to a relationship, basically between that of a male and a female. That's where I come from, okay? How you doing, Sister Tierra? Welcome to the dinner table. Thank you, sister, for coming, sitting down. And my brother and sister, I would like for you to notice, I'm going to inform you, I'm talking on two different platforms this evening. I'm talking on the book and I'm talking on the tube. How you doing, Sister Parker? Welcome to the dinner table. If you're on the book and I make a comment to those that on the tube, those you on the tube, you may not see the comment, but I'm going to call out the name, okay? And vice versa. Those of you that are on the book and I make a comment to those that are on the tube, I call their name and I tell you what they have said. My brother and sister, I want you to understand when we're at the dinner table, we are family here. So when we're at the dinner table, we discuss things, okay? We discuss things. I want you, brother and sister, to feel free where you could communicate with other brothers and sisters at the dinner table. You can communicate with me throughout our discussion at the dinner table, but keep your conversation on the menu for tonight, okay? That's what I want you to understand. Now, there are going to be some people that don't believe in the account of the book of Genesis, but you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But I'm telling you, when you sit at the dinner table, I come strictly from the position of the book of Genesis, when God created the man and then he created the woman and God brought the woman to the man. That's the position I come from, okay? But like I said, if you have another preference, I still encourage you to sit at the dinner table. Maybe you could learn something out of it. With that said, my brother and sister, tonight, when you look at the menu, on the menu for tonight is he loves me not. How a woman can know for sure 100%. Again, when you look at the menu, he loves me not. How a woman can know for sure 100%. So, question, my brothers and sisters, question first. Brothers, do you know how you can tell if you really, really love the woman that you have in your life or you claim to love? Okay? How you doing? I am the real media. Welcome to the dinner table. Again, brother, do you know How you could tell for sure, really, if that woman that you're in a relationship, do you really love her or are you claiming to love her? Sisters, are you 100% sure that that man that is in your life loves you? Do you know for sure 100% whether that man loves you? Now we're going to bring out the appetizer. And what is the appetizer? The appetizer always come out before the main meal. When we look in the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 43 through 45. Again, Luke chapter 6, 43 through 45. Luke chapter 6, 43 through 45. Jesus is doing the talking. Okay, Jesus himself is doing the talking. And Jesus is using a parable about a tree. And this is what the Lord Jesus said. He said, a tree does not bear bad fruit. A good tree does not bear bad fruit, nor does a bad tree good fruit. How you doing, Sister Sherry Smith? Welcome to the dinner table. And Jesus go on to say, for every tree is known by its own fruit. For man do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they gather grapes from braid bush. A good man, listen to this, what Jesus said, a good man out of a good heart, he bring forth good. And then Jesus went counterwise. On the flip side of the coin, Jesus said, and an evil man out of an evil treasure of his heart bring forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speak. Now, sisters and brothers, you need to listen to this again. Jesus is using a parable of a tree. And he's talking about a type of fruit. Again, the Lord Jesus said, a good tree does not bear bad fruit. Got it? Nor does a bad tree bear good fruit. Got it? For every tree is known by its own fruit. Listen to what Jesus said. Every tree is known by its own fruit. For example, if you go outside and you see a pear on a tree, it's a pear tree. If you see an apple on a tree, it's an apple tree. If you see plums on a tree, it's a plum tree. If you go out there speaking and you go to a plum tree, it's not going to produce bananas. You understand? Whatever in the root, that is what it's going to produce. And Jesus is going to say, for man do not gather figs and thorn, nor do they gather grapes from a brave bush. A good man out of a good heart, a good man out of a good treasure of his heart bring forth good fruit. An evil man out of an evil treasure heart bring forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. You know this, my brother and sister. You remember me telling you, brother and sister, I say, whenever you talk to someone, especially when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, what did I say? I said, visualize that man, sister, or brother. I said, visualize that woman like they're a scale. Now, what is a scale? When we look in the dictionary, a scale it's a gradual range of value forming a standard system for measuring or grading something. Listen to what it said, for measuring and grading something. If you keep in mind, my brother and sister, you know what a scale look like, right? It's this device that got two things, one on the left and one on the right, where it weighs, right? So whenever you use a scale, my brother and sister, if you put something on the right, it's going to go up or down, right? If you put something on the left, it's going to go up or down. To see whether it's balanced, it's supposed to be even. That's what a scale for, to see it's something balanced. When it comes to a person, a man and a woman, you can put a man's word or a woman's word on the right side of the scale, and you put that man and woman action on the left side of the scale. It must balance. The word and the action must balance. Some people say, actions speak louder than words. That's true in a sense. But a man's word and his actions supposed to speak equally. A woman's word and actions supposed to speak equally. Now, what I'm about to do at the dinner table tonight, my brother and sister, I'm going to expound some things to you, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm not. I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to expound. I'm going to open you up to some things. Now, some of you're going to agree with what I'm going to say tonight, and then there are going to be some of you that are going to disagree. Tonight at the dinner table, you're going to make a decision. You're either going to agree with what I'm saying or you're going to disagree. There's no middle ground on what we're talking about tonight, okay? Now, but keep in mind, my brothers, and keep in mind, my sisters, what I'm going to talk to you about is going to be more from God's point of view, and I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to make a contrast with man's point of view. So you're going to have to make a decision. When it comes to this topic, he loves me not, how a woman can know for sure 100%. The theme is, does he love God? That's the theme, one of the things. Does this man love God? If this man loves God, there's hope with his relationship with a woman. He got to love God first. He got to know God first. He got to spend time with God first. No man can love a woman without God. For God is love. If that man does not have a relationship with God, sister, he cannot love you. He could have a strong like for you, but that's not love. Now, there are some of you sisters, you think that just because a man pay your bills, just because a man put some money in your pocket, just because a man take you to a high-end restaurant, just because a man take you on an exotic trip, some women equate that with love. That's not love. There's nothing wrong with what I just said, but that's not love. Love is a little more deeper than that, my brother and sister. Now, question, brothers, are you a giver or are you a taker? We're going to see what type of man this is. And some of you guys, you're going to have to answer this within yourself. Are you a giver or are you a taker? If you are a giver, you know what it is to be, you know what it's like to love, which means that you more than likely have a strong relationship with the Lord. If you do not have a strong relationship with the Lord, you are leaning on the side of a taker and you coming from a position of lust. So when a man deal with a woman, he's going to deal with a woman from the position of being a giver, or he's going to deal with a woman from the position of being a taker. How you doing, Sister Marie? Welcome to the dinner table. Sister Park said, facts. I've been down that road. You're right. Thank you, sister. Now, sisters, how long? Let me ask you this question, sisters. How long have you been in a relationship with, quote unquote, your man? I'm specifically talking to you single women. Before I get to the married women and the married men, I'm talking right now to the single men and the single woman. But right now, single sisters, the man that you say that you in a relationship with, my question to you is, how long have you been in a relationship with this man? That's my question to you. Now ask yourself, I'm putting the mirror in front of you. You don't have to raise your hand or nothing, but this is time for you to think. How long have you been in a relationship with this man? Have it been a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a year, or years? Which is it? You know what position you're in. And another question, sister, what is your status with this man? What is your status? Are you single and you're in a relationship with a man? Are you engaged to this man with an engagement date? Or are you married to this man? Does he love God? This is the question. Does he love God? Back to you, brother, a single brother. Let me tell you something, brother. How you doing, Sister Paul? Welcome to the dinner table. Brother, you have a lot of weight on you tonight. Now I'm talking to some of you single Christian brothers. You have a lot of weight. You might not want to be at the dinner table tonight. Now you have a lot of weight on you tonight, some of you single brothers, if you claim to be in a relationship with a woman. So my single brother, I'm asking you kindly. You don't have to ask, are you a giver? Do you know how to love a woman? Or are you a taker? Or are you a man of lust? If you love the woman, brother, you going to do it God's way. Because God is love. If you do not do it God's way, you're coming from the world standpoint, you're coming from lust, because what's in the world is lust. So, bro, you got to make a decision as of tonight. I know you probably don't want the woman in your life to be looking at this at the dinner table with you right now, because some of you brothers, some of you sisters that are in a relationship with one another tonight, you're going to start looking at each other now, because I'm putting it right out there in your face. It's family time. And this is a serious matter that we're discussing at the dinner table. So, brother, do you love this woman that you claim to be in a relationship with? Do you love her? Or do you lust her? It's one of the two. If you love her, you're going to do what please God. If you don't love her, you're going to do you in lust with her. You don't love her. You even might say that you love her, but you don't love her if you're not doing it God's way. Now, what is God's way? Someone may ask. And you all know I beat this in the grind almost all the time when we're at the dinner table. If a man does it God's way, what does God want a man to do when it comes to a woman? Let's go to some documentation in the Bible. God did bring Eve to Adam, right? When God brought Eve to Adam, did he bring Eve to Adam as a girlfriend? Did he bring Eve to Adam as a friend with benefits? Did he bring Eve just to live with Adam? Nope. He brought Eve as a wife to Adam. And how did Adam identify Eve? He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman, because she came from man. Adam accepted, he seen Eve as a wife. He immediately looked at Eve as a wife. Now, let's go to another character in there. Let's go to Isaac, Abraham's son. When he seen Rachel, when God brought Rachel to Isaac, how did Isaac look at Rebekah? Did he look at Rebekah as a girlfriend? Did he look at Rebekah as friends with benefits? Did he look at Rebekah as, excuse me, did he look at Rebekah as she just going to stay with me? No, he looked at her as a wife. Now let's go to one of you all favorite couples. One of you all favorite couple is Boaz and Ruth. Classic romantic story. How did Boaz view Ruth? When Boaz looked upon Ruth, what did he view Ruth as? He viewed Ruth as a godly woman. So if Boaz viewed Ruth as a godly woman, what measures did he take? Boaz was a godly man. So if Boaz was a godly man, he wanted to please God first, right? He wanted to please God first. So if he wanted to please God first, Boaz he knew who he was. He knew who he was because he had a relationship with God. Boaz knew his purpose in life. Boaz knew his responsibilities in life. Boaz knew his boundaries in life. When he seen Ruth, he immediately seen, he had in his mindset, I want to give to that woman. That's how Boaz started looking at Ruth. He had the mindset, I want to give to that woman. One of the major traits of God is what? Give. Because what did the Bible say about God? God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, and whosoever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. What is one major trait of God and love? He gave. When Boaz looked at Ruth, did he look at Ruth as, I want to take something from her? I'm lusting after her. No. He didn't look at Ruth as a moment woman. He did not look at her that way. Let's talk about Joseph and Mary. When Joseph looked at Mary, Joseph was engaged to Mary. Understand that? He was engaged to Mary. He was betrothed to Mary, right? Joseph looked at Mary as wife material. He was engaged to her or betrothed to her, and they had a wedding date. Did Joseph look at Mary as a girlfriend? Did he look at her as friends with benefits? Did he look at Mary as living with her without being married? Did he? Now, the guys that I just told you, just mentioned to you in the Bible, but there are many, there are many situations, and there are different examples that I could use. Let's talk about an everyday man. How can you tell? How can a man know that he loves the woman that he claims to love? He sees that woman as a wife. He sees that woman as a Proverbs 31 woman. He sees that woman as someone that he wants to give to. He does not look at that woman like he want to take something from her. Now, that's a question for some of you guys, because we're going to come back to that a little short. Now, some of you sisters, let's talk to you again. How long have you been in a relationship with this man? You single sister, how long have you been in a relationship with this man? That man who you've been spending time with. That man who you introduce your family and friends to. How long have you been in a relationship with him? What is your status? Are you still single? That's my question. You're going to be one of three when you're in a relationship with a man. You're either going to be single, you're going to be engaged, moving towards being married, or you're going to be married. That's it. You either single. Let me tell you something, sister. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're single and you're in a relationship with a man, from God's point of view, not from the world point of view, not from Tony's point of view, not man or woman point of view, from God's point of view, and I have said it before, my brothers and sisters. Sister, if you are a single woman and that man is not engaged to you, especially if he's not married to you, he's not yours. He's a free agent. Brother, if you are a single man and you're not engaged to that woman with a date, and I ain't talking about taking her out, with a marriage date, or you're not married to her, she doesn't owe you anything. So if a man and a woman is single, you single brothers, you don't owe that woman nothing. And brothers, you don't owe her anything. If before God, so what you gonna do when it comes to a relationship? Are you pleasing God? You see, this go for men and women. Are you pleasing God with the type of relationship you are in? If you're not doing it God's way, you are going through the motion. He loves me, he loves not. Does he love God? Now, sister, if you're in a relationship with this man, how you doing, sister? Teresa Thomas, welcome to the dinner table, sister. If you're in a relationship with this man, are you? Let's break it down. Are you engaged to this man? Now, if you're engaged to this man, God see some progress, okay? Are you engaged to this man with a date to say I do? We know God does not play girlfriend or boyfriend. We already know that. So God looks at you, sister. Are you pleasing God? First of all, before you put all the weight on the man, are you pleasing God? Or have you reduced yourself? If you are a daughter of God and you still walking around here dating a man, and he have not, as sad to say, Beyonce had a song out a while ago, put a ring on it. Have he put a ring on your finger with a date? Have he put a ring on your finger with a date? Or, as I would say, have he put a shut up ring on your finger? It is disguised as an engagement ring, and you've been wearing this shut up ring that is disguised as an engagement ring, but you 5 years in, you 10 years in, you 20 years in, and you still haven't said I do. What is he waiting for? Why are you allowing this man to get wife privileges? You single women, why are you reducing yourself? Why are you reducing yourself? Because I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You are reducing yourself. Do you think about yourself? Kind of think of it. If you are letting this man do that to you, do you know, do you not know that you're not pleasing God? What if you're a daughter of God, why are you letting a man string you along? God does not want you to allow a man to string you along. The world women, that's for them. But if you're a Christian woman, you have high standards. No man, not even a Christian man, is supposed to string you along. How long, sister, when a man meets you, and I have always said this, we men in general, when we look upon you, we know how far we want to go with you. I'm being open. I'm being transparent with you. Some of the brothers, if they be truthful, they will agree that we know how far we want to go with you. Those that disagree, they're just trying to buy time. It does not take a man a full year to learn about you. It does not take a whole, because guess what? A man gonna continue to discover you as time go by. A man will never know you totally, and vice versa, brother. You will never know that woman totally. It's a process of time. As time goes on, a man thought processes change. A woman thought processes change. Whoever you got in a relationship with 5 years ago, they may do some similar thing about pattern and behavior, but their thought processes change. As you get older, your thought processes change. So some people, when you get in a relationship, you got to understand, my brother, that man and woman that you get into a relationship with, he or she going to change. The question is it going to be for the better, or it's going to be for the worse? And that's where Jesus come in again. Jesus said, A good tree does not bear bad fruit, neither does a bad tree bear good fruit. So in that relationship, you're going to either bear good fruits or bad fruits. So, sister, is he in? If you've been in a relationship, I'm gonna bring it down to a minimum. Have you been in a relationship with a man for a year plus, a year in? If you have been in a relationship a year in, and this man have not even took you off the market, you're not his. And guess what? He's not yours. So why some of you single brothers and single sisters, why you get upset with that person when they start dating someone else? Y'all don't belong to each other. The only time y'all belong to one another is when you do it God's way. And God's way is you get married. I mean, you get engaged with a date, or you go ahead and get married. Why are you playing games? You brothers and you sisters. Why are you playing games? That's all a lot of men and women do. And I'm talking about some Christian brothers and sisters. You're playing games. Sister and brother. Let's go to the married people before I say something else, okay? Because some single men and women, they probably pissed off right about now. Let's go to the married people, because some of them probably finna get pissed off too. I don't show no partiality whether you single or married. I'm coming from God's point of view. So if you feel a little salty, get angry at God. I'm just the news I'm just a news person. I'm just the anchor. I'm just reporting the news from God's point of view. Now, okay, let's talk about the couples that are married. How can a married man, how can a married man know that he loves his wife? How can a married man know he loves his wife? How long can a woman know that her husband loves her 100%? Jesus got an answer for that through Paul. This is how a man can know that he loves his wife. What I'm about to expound to you, not explain. And this is how a married woman can know whether her husband loves her 100%. It's in God's word. And we are going to go to the book of Ephesians 5:28. Again, this is Ephesians 5:28. Ephesians 5:28. This is for a married man and his wife. How a man can know that he loves his wife, and how a woman can know that her husband loves her. Paul answered this. He was inspired by the Spirit of God when Jesus spoke to the Spirit that was in Paul, and he wrote to the people in Ephesus. And this is what Paul said in Ephesians 5:28. Paul said, and I quote, in the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. Listen to what Paul said, how a man can know he loves his wife and a woman can know he loves her. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. If a man loves his own body, what he's going to do? He's going to take care of it. He's going to make sure everything is on point. When a man is married to a woman, guess what? She got to be on point, because guess what? What did Adam say when God brought Eve to him? He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I shall call her woman, because she came from man. When a man and a woman get together through God, only through God, God merges that man and woman together as one. It's a spiritual thing. He merged the man and together spiritually. The woman had the spirit of God, God's son, and the man had the spirit of God. So their spirits are merged together as one. That man has a soul, and that woman has a soul. The soul is the mind, the will, and emotion. God merged that man and woman's soul together. He merged their mind together, their will together, and their emotion together. God merged that man and woman bodies together because the man and the woman, they become one. And it's a very unique thing. Even though you see a woman that's married to a man, she may be walking right next to the man. Or you could see her somewhere in public, or you could see him somewhere in public. Wherever you see that man at, his wife is there with him. Wherever you see that woman at, her husband is there with her. Now, there's some deep stuff what I'm talking about. They never separate. When a man and woman is married by God, they never separate, even though they could be in two different places at one time. They still one. Like if I go to where I work, and if my wife be home or vice versa, wherever I go, she's there with me. Wherever she goes, I'm with her. Do you understand what I'm saying? We never separate, even though we could be in two different locations. That's what it means by husband and a husband. If a man love himself, it's gonna go. You're gonna tell that he love himself based on how he talked to his wife. He's going to talk to her in an uplifting and encouraging way. He's going to be very careful how he talks to his wife. He's going to be considerate because he's going to have empathy on how he treats his wife. His wife is the second most important person or thing in his life after his relationship with God's son, Jesus. There's no one or nothing coming for that woman. And that man thought process is he think about Jesus, then he think about his wife. And all other relationships fall on her. And all other things fall on her. There's nothing that comes before that man's wife but Jesus. And his thought process, even though he's an imperfect man, he's always thinking about her. And what does he think about his wife? When he's talking to her, he select words that come from his mind. Because what did Jesus say about the tree? This is what Jesus said in Luke chapter 6, 43 through 45. Luke chapter 6, 43 through 45. And this in verse 45, Luke 6, 45. Jesus said, "For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks." So whatever is in that man's heart or mind, he speaks. Whatever is inside of your husband, sister, he speak it to you. A man, the Bible clearly say in the book of James that our words have the power of what? Life and death. So if a man or woman word had the power of life and death, that's powerful, right? So a man needs to understand my words have power. And when I talk to that my wife, I am talking not to her, I'm talking into her. Because when I talk to my wife, I'm planting seeds. And when I plant seeds, it's going to produce. If I plant positive seeds, it's going to produce something great. That's called respect. So if a man want respect from his wife, he got to plant the seed of love into her. So when a man plant the seed of love into his wife, she's going to produce. And she's going to produce respect to them, because that's how men view love, respect. Men and women have two different perspectives of love. Women go by the emotion. So when a woman desires to have love from her husband, what does she do? She have to sow too. A woman sow what is called respect into the man. So she have to sow the seed of respect into her husband. But we're talking about he loves me not. So it started off how a man talked to his wife. Are you building her up, or are you tearing her down with your mouth? Do you say gentle words to her? If that's time for, if you have an issue with your wife, do you know how to talk to her when you have an issue with her? You got to be careful when you talk to her, even when y'all have issues, brothers. Do not ever call your woman these negative words like the female dog that start with a B. Don't ever call her that. You don't want nobody calling your mama the B word. You don't want nobody calling your sister the B word. You don't want nobody, if you got in a girl or girls, you don't want no girl children or girl child. You don't want no other guy calling your daughter a B word. Don't even call your wife that garden tool, that 304. Do not call her the garden tool. Do you want your mama to be, do you want a man calling your mama a garden tool? Do you want a man calling your sister a garden tool? Do you want a man calling your daughter a garden tool? So the woman that you talk to, guess what? She is somebody's daughter. She may be someone's sister. She may be someone's mother. You got to understand the woman, brother. You see, when you get involved with a woman, she is one of the most precious things in your life, what God gave to you. If God brought a woman to you, brother, it was not about you. Listen to me carefully. When God brought a woman to you, it was not entirely about you. It was a part of his will before you was born. God had a purpose, brother, in for you when you came into this world, even though you could have went astray. Even the woman that you in a relation that got married to, she could have went astray. But with life circumstance, God knew he was going to bring you all together. So, brother, you have to know why God brought this woman to you. And you have to be able to utilize that woman with God's purpose in your life. So when you talk to this woman, you have to build her up. You don't want no other man out there building her up. Women are emotional. That's what a lot of you guys, you fear your woman going to be with another man. She might do, but you don't want to contribute to it. You want to treat her, you want to talk to her very nice, kind, and you got to have empathy for your woman. And then how you treat her. When you're doing things in her presence and out of her presence, are you thinking about her? Yes, you're not perfect, brother. But just like your wife represents you, you represent the God and you represent your wife. Wherever you go, brother, you represent God and you represent your wife. Just like wherever she goes, she represents God and she represents you. As a matter of fact, the Bible says that the woman is the glory of the man. So, brother, you got to understand, if you're not around your woman and you're a godly man, don't you want to hear positive word coming back how your woman is when she's not around you? Because you know, be around her all the time, and she's not, and and vice versa. Don't you want people, when people look at your wife, brother, what do they think? When people look at your wife, what do they think? Your wife, brother, she has a bearing on you. She is a reflection of you. You got to understand that. That's why you have to be very selective. The woman that you say I do too, because she's going to represent you, whether it's going to be in your face or not around you. If God gave you a purpose, brother, because he gave you a purpose, that woman, she got to fit with your purpose. So you got to treat her nice, you got to talk to her nice, which leads to abuse. If you talk to her nasty, that's mental abuse. She is emotional. That's mental abuse. If you cussing her out, calling her those bad names, that's mental abuse. Women feel. So when you calling her names and talking down to her and just talking about her, talking about you to gain all that weight, look at that, those cellulites and all that kind of stuff. She probably had that before y'all got married, but now you want to talk about it. You need to lose some weight. Now, some of you guys that telling your wife you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight too. Some of you. Why you want this woman to be the perfect 10 and you got and your stomach way out here like you 3 years pregnant? You got to know how to talk to her. You got to know how to treat her. So if you talk to her nasty and stuff, that's mental abuse. That's mental and emotional abuse. And then here goes another thing, physical abuse. Are you putting your fist up against her head? Are you beating her up with your hands? Are you doing that, brother? Are you hitting her? Are you depriving from her? Are you taking care of this woman? Do you make sure she eats? Do you make sure she's in a nice environment to live? Do you make sure she have clothes on? Are you meeting her needs, her physical needs? Are you depriving her from physical intimacy? Do you ever touch, and I ain't talking about sex all the time. Do you ever just hold her hand? Do you just hug her sometimes? Do you kiss on the cheek or her forehead? Or do you only touch her when y'all go to bed and you feeling you got to relieve yourself? So are you abusing this woman physically, emotionally, and physical? And let me say something as of right now. As of right now. If God's word say through Apostle Paul in Ephesians 5:28, it said, in the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own body. He who loves his wife loves himself. You know how you could tell whether a man loves his wife? He loves himself. If a man treat his wife bad, talking to her nasty, beating her up physically and emotionally, depriving her of things, that man doesn't love himself. So some of you sisters, and I'm not trying to make y'all, a lot of you all that y'all got everything going, because there's some sisters out there that do some nasty things to men, but they're not what we're talking about at the dinner table tonight. We're not talking about that. How you doing, Sister Flo? Brother, a man that love his wife, love himself. If a man do not treat his wife right verbally and non-verbally, he doesn't love himself. So, sister, some of you come talk to me doing consultation. I'm about to save you some money now. You come to me telling me that he talked to you nasty. He don't do this for you. He treating you real bad and stuff. You got to understand this. It's deeper than you. This man doesn't love himself. It's quite clear in God's word. If a man does not treat his wife right, he doesn't love himself. So, sister, I know a lot of you want to take it personal. You want to take it personal when he talk to you, when he cuss you out, when he deprive you of things. You think it's all about you. That man got a problem. He don't love himself. You know what? If this man don't love himself, he can't love you. And he definitely can't love himself unless he loves God. So he have to love God first. And when he loves God first, he will learn to love himself. And when he get taught to learn himself, then he can love you. Some of you sisters, you ended up marrying the wrong man. The reason why some of you sisters end up marrying the wrong man, or some of you about to marry the wrong man, because you looking at the wedding. You just looking for the wedding. You look for the big, that's what you're looking for. But you see, the marriage take place after the honeymoon. Marriage is work. It's not a fantasy. And after the hoopla is over with, and you just spent $10,000 to $20,000 on one day, and the marriage don't last 2 years or 20 years. You put 20 grand in, and it won't last 20 years. You was all consumed with people talking about what dress you have on and how good it looked and the reception. But then, and some of you knew that the man was no good before you said I do. You thought that he was going to change, or you were going to change him. Some of you sisters, legitimate sisters that have a good relationship with the Lord, you got entangled with the wrong man. That's what happened to a lot of you sisters now. You got entangled with the wrong man, even though he married you. Just because he married you, that don't mean that God brought him to you. Counterwise, Satan brought him to you. But you love that exterior stuff. You love his height. You love how his swag, how he moved. You love how he dressed. You love that he went to the gym and he chiseled. You like that cologne that he have on. You like that position that he have. You like you like that deep ATM machine in his pocket. Those exotic trips, getting your hair done, your nail done, all that superficial stuff. It ain't nothing wrong with it, but how can a man love you if he don't love the Lord? There's no way. He can't do it. That's why a lot of you women right now, you're miserable. You are miserable, and you be smiling in public, trying to make people think everything okay. But then you crack, don't you? You crack, and then you start telling your coworkers, your friends. Then some of you get on social media and you want to throw shades, and everybody know who you're talking about. You made a decision. That man did not make you say I do to him. You decided to do it. You did not ask God for his blessings on there. God showed you signs, but you ignored those signs. Some of you single women right now, God's showing you signs, but you're ignoring them. Some of you single women out there that the man have not took off the market, he have not gave you an engagement ring, he have not set a date, but yet you over a year into the relationship with him. What are you doing for him? This is what you're doing for him. You cooking for him. If he got a home or something, you going over his house cleaning up. You rearranging his house. You buying him stuff. He might even live with you. which means you taking care of him. He driving your car. You giving him money. You trying to make a boy into a man. There's a lot of you sisters out there, single sisters. You trying to make a boy into a man. You got yourself well established. God have established you, and you reduce yourself. You think you could look at a man and mold him. You looked at that man and said, I can make something out of him. He's a pretty good man. I can make, you trying to play God. A lot of you women, you be trying to play God. I can mold him. I could do something with him. I can make him this kind of man. And then when you quote unquote make the boy into a man, he's still a boy. He move into your house and he tell you what to do. He calling the shots. Ain't even got a job, but he calling the shots. They're right, Sister Flo. Sister Flo said that part, cooking money and driving the car. A lot of you sisters like that. Not all. I'm not talking to worldly women. I'm talking to some of you sisters. We can expect that out of worldly women, but when it comes to the sisters, when I say sisters, I'm talking about Christian sisters. You're doing this. Now you're looking for relief. And what you don't know, some of you married sisters, right now as I speak, you are so vulnerable. You don't even know how vulnerable you are. You don't know. You wide open for a wolf to come take you because you looking for love. You end up with a man that don't know nothing about love. It was all about lust. Just because he snowed you at the beginning, because you ignored those red flags, so he snowed you in. And now you got him. You got that trophy, because women have trophy men too, like men have trophy women. You got that trophy. But he doesn't love you. I'm telling you tonight, sisters, he may like you a lot. You may have your worldly man that doing all the things that a man's supposed to do, but does he love you? When you be by yourself, all that superficial stuff, like the house and the clothes and the exotic trips and stuff, when you really, really think about it, you missing something. You missing love. You can't blame this worldly man that you got involved with. He might not even talk to you nasty. He might treat you like a quote-unquote queen, but he can't love you. How you doing, Brother Leah? Welcome to the dinner table. He can't love you. Did not Satan tell Jesus, I will give you all of this? Don't you know that Satan in the business of giving things away? Satan had the audacity to tell Jesus, if you bow down to me, I give you all of this. So you got, and don't you know the Bible says Satan transformed himself into the angel of light? So if Satan transformed himself into the angel of light, he got some sons out there. They treat you nice and everything, but they can't love you. That's what a lot of you women are deprived of. You're married, but when you really look down on the inside, this man doesn't love you. He doesn't love you. He doing po man, he doing his best, but he can't love you if he don't have no relationship with God. My question to you, some of you single sisters, before you say I do, you need to ask yourself this question. The man that you're dating right now, number one question, does he have a relationship with God through his son Jesus? This is the first vital thing, not where he work at. When your girlfriend asks you, what does he do? Because that's the first thing your mama and your girlfriend gonna say. The first thing they're gonna say, what does he do? And they referring to money. They're trying to see how deep his pockets. How many of you single sisters right now that's dating a man, just think about it, you ain't got to raise your hand. When you talk to your girlfriend or your mama something about this man, what would they were going to ask you, what does he do? When your girlfriends or your mama or your daddy or anybody asks you, what does he do? What are they asking you? They asking you what position he in or what type of job he have. They're not asking you about, does he have a relationship with the Lord? How many of you sisters right now, just think about it, you ain't got to raise your hand. The men that you have introduced to your girlfriend, your family, or your coworker, how many of them have asked you, does he have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ? Not many of them. Not many of them. They think about the superficial thing. That's what you're supposed to know. If this man doesn't have a relationship with God's son Jesus, there's no way he could love you. He could like you. He could lust you. He can give you the world, but he can't love you. He can't love you. I know I'm a bearer of bad news for some of you sister that's single right now. He can't love you. So when he acting crazy, why you get angry at him? He doesn't have the love of God in him. You know why he doesn't? He can't love you unless he have God in him anyway. Let's just cut to the chase. He can't love you unless he have the Lord in you, in him. They're right, Brother Larry, looking beyond the tear. He has to have the Lord Jesus in him. You sister, you got to be aware of it. He can't love you unless he has the Lord in him. When he have the Lord in him, I want to ask some of you single sister this. Does he talk about the Lord to you sometime? He don't have to talk to you about Jesus all the time, but does he ever initiate a conversation with you without calling Jesus' name in vain when he on top of you in the bed? When he called Jesus' name while you single and he calling Jesus' name and saying, oh Lord, and all that kind of stuff. During that time, he doesn't love you. Now, let's go back to this. You've been dating this man for how long? More than a year? And he still doesn't know what he want to do? He got to learn more about you? He got to learn, what else he got to learn about you? He will never know you to the core. He's not Jesus. And you will never know him to the core. But he should know some things early about the relationship so he could make a decision whether or not he want to go the distance with you. Instead of stringing you along and you playing house with this man. You look good in public together. You look good on Facebook. You look good in public. You taking those pictures. You going on trips. You look good. But the inside is full of dead man bones. You and that man, you walk around y'all like a cemetery. Dead man bone. Because the Lord is not in it. But you looking good. You smiling, you cheesing. But he's not following the Lord. This man won't even lead you. He want to be the head of the relationship, right? He good at saying the man is the head of the woman. But he doesn't have a relationship with the Lord. How can he be the head of the relationship when he doesn't have a relationship with the Lord? Because if he had a relationship with the Lord, he would do the right thing. And the right thing, God's viewpoint, is get engaged, get married, or go ahead and get married. God, that thing never is girlfriend or boyfriend. And I always say it, I'm going to say it to the day I die. God, idea of a relationship with a man is you getting engaged with a date and get married, or go ahead and get married. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk free? A lot of you sisters, you giving your resources out for free. And when this man decide to be with another woman, you want to talk about it. Talk about yourself. That's what you do. Talk about yourself. Talk about how you bamboozled yourself. He didn't trick you. You tricked yourself. You ignored those red flags and he strung you along. You and him break up and then he get married to another woman in a short period of time. In your mind, you be saying he must have been seeing her all this time. Not necessarily. You and him break up or whatever. He meet this woman. 1 week, they get married. And y'all been together 20 years, and he ain't ever got married to you. Now, this is going to be a little sticky right here. He have fathered children with you, but you still ain't good enough. This man that made you, this man that gave you child or child after child after child after child, and he still won't marry you. You good enough to play the wife. You good enough to play his children's mama, but you're not good enough to be his wife. And you still be serving it up, right? I'm not trying to hurt some of you sisters, but I'm telling the truth. You see, the thing about truth, the truth can hurt. I'm not trying to be malice. If you want me to tell you some lies to make you feel good, I can do that. If you want me to put some sugar into what I'm saying, I can do that for you, so you can go away feeling good. But I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. And then this another thing. Some of you women, not all of you, some of you women, and it's sad to say some Christian women, you think if you get pregnant, that man gonna marry you. How many women, even worldly women, know this? Just because you get pregnant by a man, there's not no guarantee that he's gonna be your man. Some of you sisters have found out the hard way when you told that man that you with child and is here, you were north, he ran south. You were east, he ran west. He didn't want nothing else to do with you. Nothing. And then he tried to turn it on you and say, when you taking the pills, then you had that DUI. Not DUI. You all know what I'm talking about. DUI, that's when you drink. You know that little device, that's right, brother Larry, they go ghost on you. But you thought just because you got pregnant, he was going to marry you, right? Now he gone. Then he got married to another woman. And she got children and not his. But he didn't want to marry you. Then you think, I'm going to go down to the court and I'm going to take out child support. That'll make him lure me. And he still don't budge. He hide. He'll quit his job. He'll go to jail just not to take care of that child. Then he get with this woman and you get news that he about to get married to this woman. You ain't been asking for child support. But when you find out that he's about to get married to this woman, now you want to go get child support. Why you wait till he getting married? Yeah, okay, thank you, Brother Larry. It's an IUD. Thank you, Brother Larry. Why you want to wait till this man get married to another woman to want to go do child support? You should have did that from the beginning. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't even got pregnant anyway. Don't you know? When a man tells some of you sisters this, and some of you sisters you up in age, some of you sisters be buying this line right here. If you love me, you would do this. That's part of lust. There are some of you sisters, not worldly women, there's some of you sisters that a man would tell you, if you love me, you would let me have sex with you. That'll prove that you love me. That don't prove that man love you. That's lust talking. And then when you give in, you think that the relationship going to be deeper and bonding, right? Yeah, it get bonding all right because you can't become soul tied to him, but it's not what you think. Some of you sisters have experienced it before. You gave in to the man. He put on all that charm at the beginning. Remember, he was taking you out. He was calling you in the morning saying, hello, beautiful. Hello, sunshine. He was texting you and everything. He was taking you out and you call yourself holding back, right? Then when you decide in your mind, okay, it's been 90 days, like Steve Harvey book, 90 days, It been 90 days. So since it's been 90 days, and just like a job, when you hire someone, you give them 90 days to see if it's gonna work out. Y'all believe that Steve Harvey book crap, right? Then it's 90 days. So at the 91st day, I'm gonna give my body to him. I'm like what Whitney Houston said, I'm saving all my love for you. So you saved all your love for him from the 91st day. On the 91st day, you gave your body to this man. And you notice a whole big change, right? You don't get no early morning, how you doing, love? Have a good day. You don't get that no more, do you? Or contact you throughout the day, you don't get that, do you? You going out on Friday night, something come up. He started working late. And then he started getting distant. And you talking about ghosts. And then you feel foolish. You had the signs. He loved me not. Sister, it real, like Sherlock Holmes would tell Watson, elementary. It's really simple. If you follow the Lord, my sister, serious note, if you follow the Lord gonna give you signs. You're gonna see the fruits. You're going to see the fruits. He's either going to bear good fruits or bad fruit. He can't bear both of them. He's going to be consistent. But he only be consistent for the good fruit. He got to have the Lord in his life. So, sister, if you would like to be in a right relationship, the man must have a relationship with God through his son Jesus first. The relationship culture will not tell you this. They want some of your money so they could tell you how to play game on a man, how you can manipulate him to be your man. And they do the same thing with men. They teach men how to manipulate women. But I'm not here to manipulate you. I'm just here to try to help you. This is what we call tough love. I'm not here bashing my brothers. I'm not here bashing my sisters. Both men and both women got to take responsibility when it comes to a relationship. And I'm about to wrap this up. Just keep in mind, if you're single and you dating someone, brother and sister, if you're single and you're not engaged means that you are off the market. Brother, when you get engaged to that woman, sister, when you get engaged to the man, you're both off the market because you have the intent of saying I do, and you set a date. Y'all getting prepared to say I do. Or you skip the engagement and go ahead and get married. You exclusively off the market. But long as there's no engagement, it ain't about you verbally saying I'm serious about you and I'm committed to you. That's not enough. The scales got to be balanced. That's not enough. Words are easy to say. It's not, you see, your words and your action got a match. Sister, if a man say I love you, if a man get to the point to say I love you, you got to have some hard evidence that you love her. Not paying her bills. That's not it. Not getting a house, not getting a car. That's not love. Love is commitment. After serious, it's a commitment. The man will give to you off of he being serious, and he commit. He commit wholeheartedly into the relationship. The reason he does not go wholeheartedly so he could walk away easier, because he's afraid of divorce rate. Like I said, most divorces end up, women file for more divorces, between 70 and 80%. He's afraid of that. You're going to take his assets. Ephesians 5:28 again. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own body. He who loves his wife loves himself. If you see a man that loves his wife, that man loves himself. If a man is married, take my word, my brother and sister, if a man is married and he love his wife, guess who's going to know it? Besides God and that man, guess who else going to know it? The world going to know he loved that woman. He's not going to say this is a private thing. Because a man that loves his wife, he don't mind if people know he got a relationship with the Lord. He don't mind if the public know that he got a relationship with the Lord. He doesn't care what the public think because he got a relationship with the Lord. And then when a man have a relationship with the Lord, it's open. It's not no guessing. The world will say that man got a relationship with Jesus Christ. And guess what? The man does not have to go around saying, I'm a follower of Christ. I love Christ. He doesn't have to do it. His action will show it a lot more than his words. He don't have to go around telling people, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. It will be shown because God's son Jesus will illuminate through that man's words and his action. They're going to be consistent. And he's going to proclaim Christ in public. If need be, he will say that he got a relationship with Christ. And he don't care what if people call him an oddball and none of that stuff. He doesn't care. Likewise, a man that loves his wife, he's not going to hide her. People going to know that man got a wife. They're going to know it. Because he's going to have her public. It's not that he putting her on no pedestal. He praise her, not bow down to her, but he praise her. And that man let anybody know, this my wife. He don't care. He don't care. He said, I'm married. I got a wife. It's going to be known. He's not going to do this. You see this ring? He's not going to do like this. Take the ring off when he be from around his wife. He's not going to do that. He's going to make sure this ring going to be on. He's not going to come up with excuses like, oh, my finger got swole, so I got to take it off. He's not going to do that. This is not proof that he's married. This is just a symbol. That's all it is. It's a symbol. And he doesn't mind who know that he got a wife. He will show his wife affection privately and in public. He doesn't do things for show. You know why he loves his wife in public? Because he wants people to know that God brought this woman to me, and I found her because God brought her to me. She's imperfect, I'm imperfect, but God brought the right woman into my life, and the woman say, God caused the right man to find me. Brother Larry said, brothers and sisters must learn and hear from the past bad relationship to be prayerful, avoid making the same mistake over and over again. Amen, brother. Good point. Good point. Now I'm about to depart, my brother and sister. If you have a question or comment, go ahead and put right quick. Wait, and we'll address it right quick. Then we'll be getting up from the dinner table. Do you have any question or comments? If you don't have no question or comments, we can get ready to move away from the dinner table. You brothers and sisters, y'all can go ahead and get those carry-out plates and give it to some more brothers and sisters and some friends. Invite other people to the dinner table because we have some good food for the soul. When you come here, you get fed real food. You don't get fed no artificial food. You don't get you get the real deal when you come to this dinner table, my brother and sister. There, you're going to get more salt than sugar. I hope that you don't have no high blood pressure on the spiritual tip, but you're going to get more salt than sugar when it comes to a relationship. A relationship, you have to work at a relationship and not no fantasy. You're going to smile sometime. You're going to cry sometimes. You're going to laugh sometimes. You're going to hurt sometimes. So be real. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. You all have a good night, and I hope that you all got something out of this. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. Peace out.